so this is my haul slash review of comics from the past 2 weeks. Because if you remember last time, I only did like my book of the week, which was The Savage Sword of Conan. So, as I mentioned, I've switched now to get my comics from a local comic shop. Yay! Support your local comic shop. Because it's just good to support them, and B, they've started doing this new initiative to encourage people to do reserve with them, where you get 15% discounts on your books and lots of other discounts as well. So it's really good, and they're such a friendly shop. I'm pleased I've switched. So I've not had to wait forever for my comics now, so I can get things on a weekly basis. So it's all higgledy-piggledy. So I'm not going by order of when I've bought them. It's whatever's at the top of the pile. So the first one is a big book, and it's The Batman First Night by Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins, with colours by Mike Spencer. Mike Perkins, if you're a fan of Ram V, you'll know he's the artist, or the main artist, from Ram V's Swamp Thing run. So kind of like a photorealistic art style. And Mike Spencer's done a lot of colouring with him in the past, if I remember rightly. So it's a Black Label book. I think this might be like the last one of like an Elseworlds kind of feel before they switch to Elseworlds for the Elseworlds titles, which are starting in June, which I might do a special look at on another video. Hey, I just posted that then. So it's in the Prestige Plus format, which I love. So it's like European album size. So you get 48 pages, only $6.99. Nice cardstock cover, and the artwork is just beautiful, very fitting for the period. So it's set in, I think, set in 1939. So prohibition's still rife, and America's still recovering from the effects of First World War. So poverty's rife. The rich are rich, and the poor just get poorer. And so it's basically the premise of what if we did Batman comics now, with the Batman from when he first appeared in 1939. So it's the old school Batman with the purple gloves and the big chunky utility belt. So he's still got the playboy lifestyle. Let me just find. So that's Bruce Wayne. So your classic old school Hollywood star look to Bruce Wayne. But it's really good. So it meshes perfectly a crime noir feel of that period. So you think about things like I can't remember anything. Like Sam Spade, that kind of thing. With the Batman mythos, and I'm surprised. It's very weird reading the comic with which Dan Jurgens has written, where it's very gritty, and there's a few F-bombs in here as well, so it's definitely not a comic for kids. It is worthy of the 17 plus age range, because there's like decapitations, quite a lot of violence. But it's fun, it's a good pulpy read. I love stuff like Wesley Dodds' The Sandman, and this ticks all those kind of boxes. I'd be happy to see this run more than just 3 issues. If they did a volume 2, I'd snap it. If they did Batman in 1940, did like a year by year as he slowly gets older. Hey Dan, pay me the money for that idea. I would give this the writing can be a bit clunky in places, but it doesn't interrupt the flow. I enjoyed it much more than I was expected. I bought it mainly for the art because I love Mike Perkins. And I do recommend you read Swamp Thing by Ram V and Mike Perkins. You won't be disappointed. I would give this a solid pulpy 8 out of 10. So I'll be carrying on with that. And then we got Detective Comics 1082. Look at that cover. That's just gorgeous. I'm not going to pull a lot of them out because it's a pile. It's a pile. This is continuing Ram V's run. Gorgeous artwork by Federici and Raphael, and Lee Lorridge on the colours. So it's continuing this almost like a dreamlike period of the comic. So he's based this on like an opera, and this is, I think, the final canto, I think they call it, of the opera. So he's introduced this obscure character called Dr. Hate into the mythos now, into the storyline. And what I love about Detective Comics is how the backup strips tie in perfectly with the main story, and he keeps his writers to a nice small group of writers, say Cy Spurrier, Dan Watters, Alex Packnett, I think, is coming on as well. And there's gorgeous artwork by Benjamin Mitten in the backup strip, which focuses on the backstory of Doctor Evil, and it's a good reveal at the end. I really enjoyed it. It's well worth the $4.99 because you get 32 pages of story, I think, something like that. It's a chunky book. Yeah, continues, got there in the end, to impress me month after month. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. And then, yeah, I'll do this one first. I got Joker Year 1 Part 3 from Batman, in Batman by Chip Zdarsky, Kamikoli and Sorrentino on the artwork. They're doing different parts of the story, different timelines. Completely unnecessary. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but there's no rhyme, no reason for why it has to be included in the Batman comic. It was just like a weird interlude from the flow of the main Batman story, which I'm not keen on anyway. Artwork I'd give 8 out of 10. I think I must be one of the few weird people who I'm actually getting a bit bored of Sorrentino's art style. And I don't know what it is. I think because in the back of my head I'm thinking, is this just photocopied? Is this just cut and paste? Is it just computer generated? And so it pulls me out because I'm trying to work out how he's doing things technically. And for comic art to work, it shouldn't pull you out like that. And that's the problem I have with it. So I'm actually enjoying Kamikoli's artwork more than Sorrentino. And I'm not saying he's a bad artist, he's not, but his techniques just pull me out too much because I'm just trying to work out how he's doing things. I know that's a weird criticism. But the story, it's neither here nor there, and it's a very damp ending. It's just a damp squib of an ending. So story I'd give 5 out of 10, artwork 8 out of 10. And then we move on to the next issue of Batman, 145, which is Dark Prisons Part 1. Jimenez is back on the artwork, yay. Does a really nice Batman, does really nice artwork. And this is the first Zdarsky Batman comic I've really enjoyed since Failsafe. So if he's on an upswing, good. So I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Because like I said, it's the first Batman comic by Zdarsky I've enjoyed since Failsafe. So fingers crossed, if he's on for, I don't know how long he's on for, but if it carries on in this period, this level of quality, I'll be happy. Because I've hated this big flabby midsection after Failsafe. But I think Jimenez brings out his creative streak, I don't know. So yeah, but it's still this. I am fucking fed up, pardon my French, of Serenar now. I just want to be done with him. Am I the only one? But apart from that, it's a good Batman comic. It's Batman again. And still on with kind of like a Batman tip. The Penguin number 7 teams up with the bat. I love that cover. And it's still Subic. I think he did the Riddler miniseries doing the artwork. He does a brilliant penguin. He's so deformed how he draws him. It's just like this abstract shape, like this potato with talons, really, little spuddy eyes. And it's a very clever story. It's basically this is how you do a year 1. This is much more fun than the Joker year 1. This is basically the Penguin year 1, but they're not touting it like that. And it's Penguin building up this kind of alliance with Batman, so he becomes like Batman's informer, telling about other crimes that are going on in the city, while he commits his own crimes and murders, thinking that he's basically pulled the wool over Batman's eyes. And it gets you thinking that initially, and then you think, oh, hold on. So it's clever. This is Tom King's best comic. I know people are raving about Wonder Woman. I stopped reading Wonder Woman because that was the verbose Tom, and I'm not a big fan of verbose Tom. This is more streamlined Tom, where the words actually count. And yeah, it's a good, gritty crime comic. Even though it's not really about Batman, it's the best Batman one of the best Batman comics apart from Ram V. No, then again, I'm enjoying Batman and Robin, so ignore what I said there. It's just a really good comic focusing on one of Batman's often underrated villains, and he's making him a much more interesting villain than Joker ever was. So 8.5 out of 10. And then on a Jeff Lemire book and by with Gabrielle Walter doing the artwork and Jodie Belair on beautiful colours, Phantom Road. Initially, I described this as Twin Peaks meets the X Files meets True Detective, but now I'd say it's X Files meets True Detective meets Eraserhead. If you've ever seen Eraserhead, you'll see what I mean with the baby in this. Yeah, very unsettling, very dreamlike. It's not really going anywhere. It's almost hypnotic in its slow, um, dreamlike pace. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this more than Tenement, and Tenement's in wrapping up. And I've not actually picked up the last Tenement because I missed out on in my local comic shop and not online. I will get it eventually, but I'm in no rush. But this, I'm enjoying it. 8 out of 10. No, could not tell you what's going on really. It's basically, I don't know if this is meant to be more like purgatory because they're forced to encounter their sins, as it were, or the life shattering experiences what each of the main characters has had in this. And yeah, Jeff Lemire it writes really good about the human condition, about the not spiritual side, but feelings of grief, and how it can have a hold on you. And he's done this a number of times in his comics, where he writes about how you shake off the grief, how you deal with it by sharing your grief with somebody else, and you can help lessen their burden, and they can help lessen your burden. And yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for this trippy, dippy, whippy ride. Yeah, it's fun. 8 out of 10. I think I'm the only one who's singing the praise of this, but Neil Bisfozard is fucking badass. Got gorgeous Dan McDade artwork, which is almost like it's a bit like a James Stokoe meets um, Darwin. Not is it Darwin Cooper? Oh fuck, Darwin Cook, and the Transformers artist whose name escapes me. You know who I mean? The really big artist that did a power bomb, Danny Warren Johnson. Like all those meshed together, which is very unusual look for a Superman kind of universe comic, and I love it. I was never the biggest Zod fan, but I love how they're doing this. Joe Casey is good at writing violent superhero comics, and this is violent. If it's out of 10, it'd be 11. It really is violent. Think Lobo violence, that kind of violence. There's people's heads being ripped off, hearts being punched out, jaws being knocked off, stuff like that. And wow, it's a game changer because something happens to somebody very close to Zod, and I was kind of like, oh, did they just do that? Kind of like a major villain in the Superman mythos who's just been something devastating has been happening to them. Yeah, and I'm loving this. Initially, I think it's touted as 12ish, but I heard somewhere it is going to be ongoing. If it is, I'll be happy to carry on with this. I love everything about it, from the cover to the story to the artwork and the colouring. Yeah, it's pushing on my buttons. I would love Joe Casey to do either an Omega Men comic or Lobo comic with the Omega Men with it. You know, I think he'd be a good voice for Lobo. So yeah, 8 out of 10, really enjoying it. And then we have Birds of Prey #7. Kelly Thompson's still on the writing juices, but it's filling artist for 2 issues, I think, 2 issue story, I think it is. I could be wrong. Pina on the artwork, Jodie Belair doing the colouring, but the original artist, Romero, is it, I think? Yeah, Leonardo Romero doing the normal cover. Some people don't like the colouring. I love it. It's very pop art, very. She really plays with the colours on it, so it can be a bit jarring at first, but I like that. I love things like Madman. I could, as I've said before, I'm a huge 2000 AD comic fan, so I was exposed to like Brendan McCarthy and his psychedelic colours kind of style, and that's very much in this feel. So I love it. I'm all for it. And yeah, this is a very this time it's very Barbara Gordon centric because they want to know who's out to get Barbara, because in so many alternate timelines she keeps on getting killed. So they want to know who's out to get her, and there's other people who've been targeted who have affiliations with the Birds of Prey who've been targeted as well now. So this bigger mystery is developed, and there's a really fun cheesecake moment at the end, which has made me laugh out loud because it's written by Kelly Thompson. You can see she's basically sticking two fingers up at the almost like the toxic boys club of comic writers who exploit female characters. and she's basically claiming it back for the girls, and it's great. Yeah, 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. Really, one of my favourite teen books, Birds of Prey, number 7, 9 out of 10. And I'm enjoying Marvel at the moment. Well, the Marvel comics I'm getting, and I can't believe it. I'm so happy. I want to like Marvel. They're doing a good job. And it's $4.99 this one, but I think there's about 28 pages, which is good for Marvel for $4.99. And I didn't choose this cover, but I do like it. It's a tribute to, obviously, to The Dark Knight Returns. And it's Adventures Twilight number 3 by Chip Zdarsky and is it Arcuna? Yeah, Daniel Arcuna on the artwork. So the lazy way to describe it is Captain America's Dark Knight Returns. It's not, because it focuses on other characters as well. But it's a very fun, it's a dystopian future of superheroes. What would happen if superheroes were outlawed, and if, say, like this Trump-like state became the way of America, and the only superheroes that they have are ones who are okayed by like this Trump-like authority that rules America, governs America. So it's basically these old superheroes coming out of retirement and fighting the corruption that's ruling the country with all this, all the lies and disinformation. It's like a mirror image of what goes on with modern day, especially American politics. And yeah, I love it. It's one of Zdarsky's best comics he's written in a long time. 9 out of 10. Great series. I'll be sad when it finishes at issue 6. Hopefully they'll do a volume 2, because I think there's a lot more to explore with this world. Yeah, great. And I'm happy that I can give such a high score to a Marvel comic. And then we have Flash 6 by Spurrier and Deodato Jr. Love that cover. Oh my god, what a head trip. I think this will divide a lot of fans, but for me, I'd rather have a comic. I mean, Flash is about the fastest man in the world, but it's the slowest comic to read because there's a lot of stuff to take in, and I had to keep on going back sometimes and just reading, going, okay, and it clicks my head, but great. It's a comic that challenges you. It's take 2. It's a comic that challenges your brain. It makes you think. It's an intelligent comic. Si Spirit he thinks outside the box in how he does his comics. His Hellblazer is very similar, and the Boom comic, what he did, which was like a Hellblazer light, is very similar to him, where it's not a quick, breezy read. You've really got to read it, and sometimes you've got to read it again, but you get rewards for that. This is Flash in a weird science fiction world. He's just a character in it, and yeah, it's very Twilight Zoney, very dark Black Mirror, and I'm here for it because I don't want to say hate because he's a good writer, but Jeremy Adams was not my Flash writer. He was just too fluffy, too cuddly, and this is the polar opposite. This is like the evil reflection of Jeremy Adams' run, and this is going to divide a lot of people. A lot of people stop buying this, but this made me buy Flash again. And I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, and I'm excited to see where it goes, especially because next issue there's going to be a new artist on the next story arc. I'm quite pleased because the thing I found most confused was Deodato's layouts, so because of that I'm looking forward to the new artist. And another Marvel comic, what I love about a comic character that I've wanted to love for ages, and it's made me love him again. Yay! So, sorry about that. So, what's all that? I got a bit of a lisp. So we got Spectacular Spider-Man number 1 by Humberto Ramos and Greg Weisman of Gargoyles and the Spider-Man animated series fame. So this focuses on both Miles and Peter, and they've agreed to meet up every Wednesday to have like a hangout for an hour just to work on their friendship, not to work on the friendship of Spider-Man, but work on friendship as Miles and Peter. And what I like about this is, in this one, Miles is the level-headed person and Peter's the goofball, so it's playing on old school tropes of Spider-Man, and I am here for that. I like my Spider-Man when Peter's a bit goofy, a bit carefree, a bit of a nerd, and this is great. It's fun. Humberto Ramos' artwork, love it. Some of it's, I think some of it's a bit tampered down by the inker, but it does shine in other panels as well. And yeah, I'm enjoying a Spider-Man comic. 8 out of 10. I bought this, and then when I came back this week, I said got this on Wednesday, but I popped in again on Saturday and said put this on my list. So this is going on my regular pull list, and yeah, 8 out of 10. Really enjoying it and looking forward to more. And then from last week was Conan the Barbarian number 8. I don't know about this cover. It's not very Conan-y. It's nice. It's pretty, very pretty. But Jim Zub and Dougie Braithwaite and Rodriguez on colours do a really fun comic inside. It finishes off Braithwaite's art on the story arc, and it deals with possession, false doom, and other good stuff like that. Good Conan tropes. This is as close to a horror comic as you can get with a Conan comic, I think. And it opens it up. So basically, Conan gets possessed, and it shows how lethal that can be if Conan is controlled by somebody else, because he's basically a killing machine. He makes the Punisher look like a vegan tofu eating softie. But yeah, great, and it leaves it. It finishes the arc, but you can tell it's going to be continued in the next story arc. And yeah, Jim Zub's made me love Conan again. I love that comic. 8 out of 10. And then we have from Dan Matters and Sumit Kumar, Lee Luridge on colouring, Aditya Bidikar on pen lettering, and this is the Six Fingers, number 1. So this is the mirror comic to the one hand, the Ramvi detective noir, futuristic detective noir. This one though focuses on the serial killer, and this issue basically sets the groundwork to explain how he became who he is, how he became this serial killer, the Six Fingers. And it was a trip. It was really good, very different in tone to the Ram V one, quite comedic in places, and I'm pleased for that. It read very much like a European comic, which makes sense because Dan Watters, and it's Watters, not Waters, Watters, it's 2 T's. It's like, oh, don't get me started on, what is it, Mark Millar? It's Mark Miller. But yeah, I've lost what I was saying now. But yeah, it's good. It's a good little creepy cyber thriller, and but horror elements in it as well, hack and slash. 9 out of 10. Keep sticking on with that. And then rounding up the Return to Kingdom Come, Part 5, by Mark Wade and Dan Mora, and it's World's Finest 24. Gorgeous visuals. He does a fantastic Dark Side. I'd love for Dan Mora to do a New Gods comic. I just basically want the New Gods to come back in their own comic. Yeah, it's a satisfying read. It's a fun read. It's not deep. It's basically fan service, but it's good fan service. 8 out of 10. And then I thought, because of all the hype, I have no historic attachment to this. I have no idea what the characters are, to be honest. I've seen them like snippets on YouTube, but Thundercats number 1 I got through the post. Declan Shelby and Drew Mass on the artwork. I do like that cover. Am I going to carry on with it? I don't think so, but I'm pleased I got it, because at least now I can understand the appeal, but I've not got any attachment to it, no nostalgia, and it's a $4.99 comic. Granted, it's 24 pages, cardstock cover, but like I said, it holds nothing for me, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Then I've got number 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man even, by Hickman and Chiachato. Yeah, carrying on from where number 1 left off. So he's now embraced his Spider-Man costume. That cover's a bit misleading, because it's more about him finding his feet and being outsmarted by this villain each time, because he's just so gullible. Yeah, and it's good. I love this spin of what would happen if you're a middle-aged man and suddenly you have superpowers. And it's great, it's fun. 9 out of 10. Going to carry on with that. Interested to see where to go with that. And I've stopped Green Lantern, both of them, and obviously there's no Legion out there, and I miss a good cosmic superhero comic. And I did get these a while ago, and I enjoyed them, but I was just budgeting, and these were Captain Marvel 1 and 2 by the new writer of Alison Wong and Jan Bazaldia on the artwork. So in my local comic shop this week, got 3, 4 and 5, because they had them in, and obviously because I got my new discount, I got these at a nice decent price. I think they were like £2.70 a comic, when normally it's £3.40 a comic. Yeah, and I love it. This is really enjoyable, because I love the nega bands, and I like the new character where she's a thief. but there's much more to it. I like how Alison Wong's brought this warmth to Captain Marvel and to a supporting cast. And the other guy, I've forgotten a name for the time being, but so they switch bodies obviously because of Negabands. But Captain Marvel, it's a fun part how she meets her family, and they just think, "Oh, Captain Marvel, she's wonderful." I was basically trying to matchmake Captain Marvel with the girl, and the girl's no, 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 it's not like that. But yeah, it's just great. It ticks all the boxes for me. Sometimes you just need a light read to get rid of some of the grit what you can get from other comics, and this is my light proper read, like the Lee Spectacular Spider-Man is. So I'll give this 8 out of 10. For the arts, I'd say initially it was 8 out of 10, but I think they've rushed on some of the later issues, so 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. But in total, 8 out of 10 for the comic. I will be carrying on with that. So another Marvel comic I'm guessing. And then Green Arrow number 9. Great. This is what I want. Street level Green Arrow. Isaac on back on the artwork. I don't know. But yeah, so this is more dealing with the machinations of Amanda Waller. So she's basically got Green Arrow over a barrel. I won't go into depth too much because you need to really read this comic. 9 out of 10. One of the most fun street level superhero comics around there at the moment. Took us street level heroes. We've got Daredevil number 6. And this is actually a John Romita Jr. cover I do like the colours on it. So yeah, so if you can't work out from the cover, Doctor Strange makes a guest appearance in this, which works out perfectly because this is much more of a supernatural, spiritual Daredevil to what we're used to getting, and it leans heavily into Christianity and Catholicism, which is quite an interesting take for Daredevil. I know there've been hints at it before with Frank Miller's run, and I've not read Zdarsky's run, so I can't comment on that. But in this one, it does it heavily because he's a priest now in his alternate life. And it's fun, it's very satisfying, it's a rewarding read, and Aaron Kuder's back on the artwork, so the artwork's gorgeous. There's a lot of big panels in this, and it works really well. And yeah, Saladin Ahmed is doing such a fresh take on Devil. He's making him a very humble and likeable character. Yeah, 8 out of 10, carrying on with that. And then we have John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, number 2. That cover is brilliant. The artwork inside by Aaron Campbell is just wow, really, this has artwork of the week. This is the best artwork in any comic I've read this past week, 2 weeks. With art colouring by Jody Belair. So this is carrying on with Dead in America. This is the sequel to the previous series, what he did a few years back, which was in the Sandman universe. Presents range. I've not got those 2 books, but even without those 2 books, I've been able to work out what's going on, and the characters are fascinating. I love the guy that's his son, who's I think he's he's definitely mute, and so he does all the sign language, and he's a great character. He's got great personality, and I love his the Scottish kind of like muscle. She's fantastic, and I like how his son, the guy who does the sign language, how he's kind of like crushing on her and trying to get her attention, but it's just going over her head. And yeah, this is John as a bastard, which is how he should be, tricking everybody left, right, and centre, and it's a very great rewarding read. I will be getting the 2 trades what are out, so I am up to date fully with the series, so I'll get the next time I get paid. And yeah, 9 out of 10. And then Marvel Gods number 5 by Jonathan Hickman, Valero Sheety. Great, wonderful world building. The only thing that puts a damper on it, I know it's ending at number 8, and there's so much more he could tell in this comic. In a way, I love Ultimate Spider-Man, but in a way, I wish they'd just let him focus on doing this. I think Marvel shot themselves in the foot by doing that really expensive first issue, $9.99. No, but people don't want to pay that for a first issue. If they'd just done a standard comic, $4.99, this would be much more successful, and they wouldn't stop it at 8. But saying that, this is like basically Marvel's almost like a Vertigo comic. It very much is like Sandman Light in a way, with a bit of a New Gods kind of feel to it as well. So it's kind of like sci-fi meets dark fantasy meets occult, and yeah, it's interesting. I have no idea who the characters really are, but I don't care. I'm here for the ride. The dialogue's great. I like how he writes Doctor Strange. But yeah, I am going to carry on till the end. See, there's only 3 more issues, and yeah, 9 out of 10. World Tree number 8. So this elaborates more on the ongoing mystery with this. They're now being tasked to hunt there's so the main group of friends are now trying to find the strange girl who was revealed to be their friend's sister, and he got killed by her. But there's also government bodies now that are trying to hunt her down as well, and so it's widening up the world a bit more, and the mystery is deepening and making it a bit more exciting. Because past few issues were good, but they were a bit staticky. This one has upped the pace a bit, and the artwork's gorgeous as normal by Blanco, and colouring by Jody Blair, and again Bidicart, best letterer I think in the business. So 8.5 out of 10. Carrying on with that, and lastly, but no means leastly, but no means least, is Superman number 11. Yeah, great. I love the dynamic how what Williamson has with Lex Luthor and Superman. How it's this love-hate relationship they've got now. It really is the odd couple, and I like. This is weird to say, but for a comic, normally I hate it when they switch art teams, and this one the art teams switch around a lot. But each art team they have on, they give the A game, and they've managed to use fill-in artists who have a similar style to the main artist. So there's not been an issue of this where I've gone, oh, I hate that art. That art draws me out of it. Each one has been chef's kiss. So in a way, I kind of like seeing which new art team's coming on. But I know some people, oh, what are the original artists? And I'm normally like that. But for me, it doesn't matter, because each one that they pick for this works with each story chapter of this ongoing saga. Yeah, so basically it's this team, instead of the team wants to kill Superman, it's the team wants to kill Lex Luthor. Basically Superman has to protect Lex Luthor. And yeah, 9 out of 10. It's one of the best mainstream superhero comics out there, which is where it should be, because it's Superman the first superhero. So yeah, that's my haul. Really, really hope you enjoyed that. One final thing I want to give a shout out to. This is my purchase of the week, graphic novel wise, and it is Miracle Man, the original epic. I've loved Miracle Man since it first appeared in Warrior Comics in 1982. Yeah, I'm old. And then I read it in the Eclipse collection comics, and then the trade paperbacks they did. And then I had the digital copies. I didn't get the omnibus because I did hear that it was a lot of back matter. I don't mind back matter, but I don't want to pay an extra £30 for something where I want it for the story mainly. So the omnibus came out, but then they brought out this, and I thought, oh, that looks nice. So it's like the Marvel Essentials kind of epic collections. I thought, oh, that looks nice, but I thought, it's still a bit pricey. But then the Bezos Devil site, who we shouldn't really tout, yeah, they had it on offer this week for £20. So I thought, that's really good. And I thought, I'll get that before they put it back to the normal price, whatever it was, £33. So this came on Friday, I think. So yeah, so it's got all the story, but like I said, I do like some back matter, and this does have quite a substantial amount of back matter. So all this here is back matter. So it's got all the cover concepts from the various incarnations of the comic, and it's got sketches and rough layouts, etc. So there's enough there to interest you if you like that kind of thing, which I do, but I don't like it too much, where it just takes up all the book. But yeah, I mean, it's got some of the best art you'll ever get in a comic. I mean, John Sosselburn is one of my all-time favourite artists, and the story paved the way for everything. This had more of an impact than anything else. This paved the way for even Alamo's other stuff like Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns. This was pushing the envelope of what you could do with superhero comic. I would give this book, especially in this format, 10 out of 10. And it's even at full price, it's still pretty reasonable. But you can get it for quite a reasonable price online in various places. So yeah, I do recommend this. My purchase of the week, Miracle Man, the original epic. Okay, that's it. I've gone on for 35 minutes. So I think that's long enough. Okay, bye. Bye.